Hi there. Welcome to Play Tennis Practice Yoga on day one of our Yoga for Tennis Breathing Challenge in honor of National Yoga Month in September and in honor of your desire to improve your tennis game. My name is Margit Bannon. I teach tennis and yoga, and today we're going to talk about why practicing your breathing is important for tennis. We'll also talk about what you can expect throughout the rest of the week for our breathing challenge. So, yoga for tennis breathing is for everyone, regardless of your yoga experience. If you focus on your breath, you're practicing yoga. So, with that said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so that you can see the following practices. I'll be releasing a video each day early in the morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That way you can look that up when you get up or at any time it's convenient for you throughout the rest of the day. If by any chance you can't keep up by watching one video a day, I will also be placing them in a playlist that you can refer to at any time. I would also love to know what you think of these practices. So please feel free to engage with me in the comments below, ask any questions. I'd love to hear your comments and we can keep in touch in that way. So why is breathing so important to the game of tennis? Well, using the breath is one of yoga's greatest tools. We say that it links the mind and the body. When you're focused on the breath, you're not focused on the score, your technique, many of the other things that come up mentally that prevent us from playing our best tennis. We can use our breath during the actual hitting of the strokes. We can focus on our exhalations as we hit. We can use that to decrease muscular tension, allowing us to swing a little more freely. And this allows the strokes to feel good as we execute our shots with a bit more authority. I don't know who doesn't want that. And in between points, we can use the breath to recover when we feel a bit winded. If you know how to manipulate the breath, and we'll work on this a little later on in the week, we can use the breath to recover, to balance ourselves out, so to speak. It can be used to lift ourselves up. It can be used to help calm ourselves down. And we can even use the breath before we play to center ourselves, after our play to help us find a little more relaxation or even enhance meditative techniques, which would allow us to work on our mental game a little bit more. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a short practice in breath awareness. This is the first piece of the puzzle. This will help lead into what we're doing throughout the rest of the week. And we'll do that today. Tomorrow or on day two, we'll do a breath practice to mimic what we do while we're hitting, focusing on that exhalation. We're going to use a technique called straw breathing. And then we'll be linking movement to breath first on the mat. I'll show you how that applies on the court afterwards. And then we'll be working on breathing in between points. I was recently inspired by a question of mine that got answered by Brad Gilbert on his new podcast called Winning Uglier. And he was real supportive of yoga for tennis breathing. And so we want to use our ocean-like breath. He called it breathe like you have asthma. But I believe we were talking about the same idea, using our deeper breaths to calm ourselves down, to balance things out. And so we'll do that, of course, in the controlled environment of being on our mat. We'll take it out on the court. And then we'll do a couple of bonus breaths a little later on in the week. One that can help us find a little deeper relaxation post-play. Another that can help us enhance our meditation practice if we're wanting to work towards our mental game a little bit more. And the last day, we'll tie this all in together. It'll seal in the intention of the week in honoring National Yoga Month, maybe just getting going with yoga. It doesn't have to all be about the postures. That's what we think about when we think of yoga, taking these fancy looking postures. Using the breath or manipulating the breath, controlling the breath is just one more piece of what yoga is. And so we're going to jumpstart that yoga practice this week in September, and hopefully you're going to see how that can help enhance and hopefully improve your game, and at the very least, just become more aware of what's happening on court. So shall we get started? You could do this seated. You see I'm sitting on a cushion, so you can do this practice seated. I am going to go ahead and come onto my back. I think it's a little more supportive, and for some, they're able to feel the breath a little more easier once on the back, but you can choose to stay seated, to come onto your back, and I'll show you what it might look like if you do choose to come onto your back. So I'm gonna slide off of my cushion. There's some windy weather here, as you can see. Feel free to support your head. You could use a blanket if you feel your head spilling backward. You want to be comfortable so that you're not too distracted. And I'm going to have my knees bent, feet on the ground, just so that this is a little easier for my back. Some people like to have the feet wide on the mat, knees falling towards one another. Some people like to have the feet hips width apart. That's a matter of preference. Allow the arms to be in a place of comfort, opening palms towards the sky, or maybe bringing the hands to the belly. And so the first order of business is just to become aware of where you are in space. This is something that you'll eventually learn how to do on court as well. So if you're on your back, you can take a moment to feel the soles of your feet. Take a moment to feel the heaviness of the hips. Notice where your spine meets the ground, just being with all of its natural curves, scanning from the lower back towards the upper back and the back of the head. And then move from the back of the head into the neck, into the shoulder blades, into the backs of the arms and the hands. And just get an overall sense of where your body meets the ground. That's just a little literal reminder of where you are in space. And without changing a thing, I want you to begin to notice your breath. So first notice where the breath might feel obvious in your body. In theory, it could even be that you notice where the breath feels absent in your body. So just notice anything with regards to sensations of the breath in your body. There's no wrong way to feel or to become aware of your breath. And if it's quiet enough where you are, I'm outside, so this would be tougher. But if you're inside and you're able to hear your breath at all, that might be another way that you can connect to your breath. And using the sense of sound doesn't mean that you have to make it sound any louder. Just see if your breath creates a sound. And then finally, feel the quality of your breath. This can be noticed in the tip of your nose. And another tool that will be greatly useful throughout the rest of the week is if you begin to notice the length of your inhalations versus the length of your exhalations. Is one breath naturally longer than the other? You could even silently count to yourself, timing how long the inhale is, how long the exhale is. And so it's just super helpful to know what your norm is as a base for all other practices that come afterwards. Like I said, there's no wrong way to breathe naturally. So anything you observe is exactly what you need to be with. And so the practice is being with how your body feels in space. In this case, it's on your mat. On court, it would be maybe feeling your feet on the court. And just noticing the quality of the breath. It gives us more information so that we can help ourselves out when needed. And so last few moments just to feel and be with breath in this initial breath awareness exercise. And then let's go ahead and roll over to the side a bit. Let's press up slowly, never rushing too much after a practice like that. And so there you have it. That's an exercise in becoming aware of the breath. The idea is that you do these things on mat in this controlled environment. It becomes easier to do these things on court, first in practices, then eventually in more stressful situations of point and match play. And so this is the very first piece, breath awareness. Maybe if you practice this in the morning or whenever you're able, you become more aware of your breath, not just in the mat, but in the yoga of everyday living. And so please let me know if you found this helpful. Tomorrow, we will transition, or on day 2, from this breath awareness to a specific breath practice in the straw breathing. We'll be using a prop, so prepare, find a straw. And that will help us for the type of breath we're going to use on court. So we're going to build each day, little by little. Again, we'll see which practices are useful and helpful, and you'll be able to take that with you on court eventually. Thanks for being here with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up with the rest of the challenge and to give me a thumbs up if you found this video useful. And I'll see you on day 2 of this yoga for tennis breathing challenge.